Hi, this is Antonio Mejorado again, and here we will try to see how do you use a counter in a loop. Sometimes you have to give any number of processes develop or something that you gotta get an account. Well, here you have this program that has a loop. In the previous video, we saw a loop to get the quadratic equation formula coefficients to get the roots of a quadratic formula. So now I would like to give at the end how many quadratic equation formula the user gave, just as an statistic or something like that. So we need to count, we need a counter. So counter could be an integer value, an integer variable. So you define the counter as integer I counter uh, to count the number of times the process was used. Okay, and it's very important before the process, before the loop, to initialize the counter. So we say I counter equals 0. Okay, so inside the loop you gotta add 1 to that counter. So don't forget, before the loop, actually I didn't write any comment to this loop. Here is a loop to repeat the process that should be done in the previous video process. Okay, so now inside the loop, once we finish, I will count. Okay, uh, before, it could be anywhere. It could be after this if, it could be before this if, it could be in between all of these ones. But I think it's better to have this before the question on the wants to repeat. So here adding 1 to the counter. So it could be I counter equals I counter plus 1. Okay, see something, there is the plus plus operator, which is exactly the same as this one. So you could use this, or you could use I counter plus plus. Okay, so I will put a comment here just to say that it's the same to I counter plus plus with the semicolon of right. Okay, of course. Okay, so at the end, after the loop, after the while, I will display the counter just to just for the user to know how what was the number of the uh, problem solved. So here you have uh, the counter equals, and here you have the I counter. Okay, actually this question, the one to repeat, should have an end line to get a better view on the user. So if I compile the program and I execute it, I give the coefficients. Yeah, that's a wrong. Okay, I continue, and the counter, well, I stop the process, so the counter is equal 1. So if I execute it again and I give like 1, 1, 5 and 6, and then I said, yeah, I want to continue any character. Okay, I have another 1, 3, and 6. That's not an imaginary, actually, these are imaginary roots. So if I don't want to continue and I stop the process, the counter is equal to. So don't forget, anytime you want to use a counter, you define the variable, you initialize the variable before the loop, and inside the loop, you increase that variable. It could be using I counter equals I counter plus 1 or I counter plus plus. Okay? Sometimes you need to increase the counter inside of an if. For example, if I want to count the number of wrong roots or imaginary roots I have, instead of having this I counter equals I counter plus 1 in here, I will change that to this if. Okay? And that will be another story, but well, at the end, after the loop, you display the counter. Okay, so these are the 3 steps we should remember every time we use a counter. Define the counter as integer, initialize the counter, increase the counter wherever you need, okay, like in here, and at the end you can display the counter, okay. Or if you want to display the counter inside the loop, that's up to you, but the thing is that will be displayed on every different use of the process. Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed this video. It's very important to understand the use of the counters because most of the time when we write programs we use counters to give statistics on the number of times the user used something, or you know. Okay, see you in the next video, guys. Bye bye.